Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth video for training on the ribbon bounce. Now, I believe I've already gone over the main ribbons with everybody. Um, I've also gone over the linear regression line, the fast and slow. So everybody should be able to have this. You don't necessarily need fast and flow or fast and slow or slow and fast depending on however it's named when it came to your package. It's basically all the same. And that's just to help you capitalize on some of the smaller movements. Okay. Like in these areas here. Now, let's see. So now that we've got those three indicators out of the way and how they work to be able to take trades, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add my signal indicator. Now, I personally had this one created just for me under my requirements. You don't even need to add the allow DLL. There you go. And what it does, we're going to zoom in, gives you a pre-warning, and then an arrow to take a trade. Now, this indicator was designed in mind for me taking 5-minute trades. Okay. Now you can take 1-minute trades off this, but be aware when there's consolidation, uh, consolidation or absorption going on, this indicator does not do well. Okay. So you have to be aware. So let's look for a consolidation area. This is a consolidation area. As you can see, it got it wrong, you know. Let's say like right here, you could, if you did a 5-minute, you still would have lost. Let's see, taking it 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you still would have lost here. But again, like I said, in consolidation areas, this does not do well if you're going to be taking 5-minute trades. Now, one thing you can do, like now this is not a repaint indicator either. It's looking for a particular criteria of information which I'm not willing to share with you. Okay. So when you see this right here like this actually is not a repaint. It's the criteria is being met for each one. But again, like I said, that you could have a lot of people trying to push the market up, like you see here. This is when you get this, a lot of people are trying to push this market up, but there's just not enough power to make it go up. And that's what's going on here. So you just have to be aware of that kind of stuff. And I will go over as well for taking 1-minute trades off this. There's two ways you can do it, but sticking with 5-minute, the only time you really want to be using my signal indicator is with the trend only. Okay, so let's take here. We know we're in an up. Everything's been crossed. The white has finally started crossing. So let's say you got in and you finally got the arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been a loss. But one of the things you can do is, if you're recognizing things, you've seen it um, cross over here above the linear regression. So instead of waiting for the arrow on this, you can get your trade in right in this area, and you probably would have won. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the current signal that's just came up. Okay, so now be aware you can get readies. Okay, so it met the criteria, but then it failed the criteria. So then this will disappear, the little star or the circle with the star. So if the criteria doesn't stick, it will disappear. So you just have to be aware. because there was a lot of force to push it down. That's why it gave us a sell. But again, we don't take any of these signals against the market. We know the market's going up. So we'd be looking to only take signals going up. As you've seen, it appeared and then disappeared. So we got another get ready. But as you can see, let's say right here, we got our crossover right there. Everything's above the linear regression. So if you took your trade here, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would have won. If you would have got in right here somewhere, you still would have won. And here's where the other opportunities may come in. So let's say you waited, you already took that, you know it's going to come down a little, so you may want to wait for the arrow to actually appear. So let's see, 1, get in here right up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you would have been in 1. So we had our 2 wins right there. All right. Right here, we wouldn't take that because the neutral line is below the other lines. But as you get better and you start spotting certain things, or for some of you, you know a little bit more, so you may want to, you've seen that it came up and then it bounced and then went up, so you could probably go for your 5 minute. All right. So like right here, this is one of our fast lines. We had the rejection, so you can get in there sometimes and get your trade. But again, this is mainly for taking how I use the system for 5 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and find another section right here. We have the white line below the green and the reds ribbons. We see we have a downtrend. Okay, so if you wanted to wait, you could wait until right here. All right, so boom, you got your ready. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes down, 5 minutes down. That's a couple wins right there you would have had. Remember, we do not take any trades against the market, so we would ignore this completely. Let's go here. Here, we wouldn't mess with anything because everything's so close together. Now right here, it's above, it's got some crossing, so and you can see there's a good lift for going up. So you could possibly put your trade in here somewhere. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You, if you got in here somewhere, but if you waited till the candle closed, this would have been a loser for a 5 minute. You know, let's see right here, coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you would have won because your trade would have went in here if you started where when the arrow, or if you started in here. All right, no. Remember, we don't trade when any of this is in between. And this is for when you're new. If you don't know anything really, you don't take any trades in between because it's just a riskier trade for you. I'm trying to keep everything as safe as possible. So right here, everything's below the line, even below this. So we got to push for down. So let's say you got in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have barely won. Then you got to push for down again. So if you got in here or here, we'll just stick with here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be another win. Okay. Um, and as you see, we have another push here. So if you did take that, um, you would have lost. So normally what you'll want to do is just take 1, 2, maybe 3 trades, uh, and hopefully all 3, and then wait for something else if you lose. Okay, because obviously there was a transition. And then if you're pretty good at recognizing things with the linear regression line, which is this, then you could possibly go and get your 1 minute trade in or 5 minute trade to get your loss back. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to back out a little so it's easier to see. Okay, so right here we had consolidation, so we would ignore all that. The rejection areas are above the white line. Okay, so once you become much better at recognizing rejection zones and stuff, then you can start capitalizing on all this. For this here, you had your rejection, came down, came up, and then for pushing down. So if you were to take a 5 minute, you would have lost there. But then here's where you would have got your win, win, and then your loss. Okay. So right here, boom, came down. We know where everything's below, everything's spread out, below the linear regression line, below the fast lines even. So if you got here, you still would have won or somewhere in there. Right here, this is where you would have lost because if you would have waited to that, that means you'd be in down here somewhere. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, no, it looks like you would have barely won. So that was good. And then we had that with guaranteed win. Okay, so now everything's squeezing together on the white line and we're starting to hit the upper line. So they're retesting a particular zone here or trying to come back and capture particular money that's sitting. So you would ignore all these signals. All right. Now, if you were daring enough, you could get on this. You would have lost, but then you would have got it back in out here. That's above the line. We don't go against the trend, so we will ignore that. Now here, while you may ignore all this and lose out on some trades because you could have won that right there, but then lost right here. But again, we're only looking to take trades with the trend. So here we have a downtrend, everything's on the blow, we have good slope. So saying you ignored this one because everything's so close, then you went in for this one. So you would have won, went in for this one. Let's say you got in here or there. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have barely won. And then 5 again. If you got in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would have won. Let's say you got in here. Because candle came up a little, so I'm not quite sure. But it looks like you would have won. 1, 2, 1, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so you would have won. If you got in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Somewhere here. So that would have been that. You would have won. If you took it on this arrow here, you still would have won. We don't take any trades going up. So we got down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a winner. All right. Now let's say you got in here 1, 2, 3, 4. So still would have been a winner somewhere in here. And then we had this one. That was another winner. We don't take any trades going against the market. And then right here, another winner. Right here is where things got little risky. Looks like there was probably some consolidation going on to figure out what the market was going to do. So let's see if he did get in at this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a loss. So he got in on this one. That's been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been a loss. So, so you've been waiting all that time to try and get back in. So, but again, like mainly if you're taking 5 minute trades, you're only taking trades with the the trend itself. So right here we have an uptrend, but this is a rough uptrend. I know we're looking at past history, so it's easier to point things out. But it's saying, because I would have taken this and I would have lost. Now we got our new alarm. Boom, take it. I would have won. All right. So let's see this one. We don't go against the market. Right. White, so we would ignore everything because the white line's all the way up here, so we wouldn't even mess with any of this. Okay, so here, boom, got our warning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would have won. Another one. So you got in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you would have won that. But sometimes you can get in on these with the pre-warning instead of just waiting for the arrows. Now this one I would have taken unless I had more information to tell me not to. And I would have lost and then waited until boom, we got this one. Let's see, we came down, it got rejected here, and then came up. It came down, rejected again at this line, so I got in. So even if I just took this one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks like we would have lost. Yeah. All right. So sometimes it's always best to, if you recognize you got this, you know it's a rejection, it's best to get your trade in on the pre-warning signal. And that's where I'm going to show you kind of how you can work the 1 minute can or 1 minute trades with the pre-warnings. Okay, so let's go ahead and back up a little more and see what we can find. So we had right here, I believe we went over that section. So right here, got pre-warning, 1, 2, 3, oh, get in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would have been a winner. Okay, this one here would have been a loss. And then we stay out. Let's see what we got. Because this came out below here, I would avoid it. Right here we have for up, but there's nothing there for us to this would be a bad section to take a trade because we're looking off the bounces most of the time. We're waiting for the bounces. Avoid all that. The bounce has already happened. So in a lot of times you once it's this far up, we usually know it's going to start coming down. So you would avoid taking that. We're looking for the bounces and clear trend. And this is obviously, even though there's a trend somewhat up, this here along with the ribbons lets us know we're trading kind of sideways. Yeah, we don't go against the market, but we know there's a clear, so that's coming back down to retest all this, and then we finally got our signal. So I would take that trade, and that would have been our winner. All of these I would have ignored. So that basically goes over the taking 5 minute trades with the signals. How long is it? 17 videos? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over taking 1 minute trades with this signal indicator. And again, you're always going to want to use trade management, money management with this system. So what you can do is you can always go for, let me zoom in. If you're going to be taking 1 minute trades, you can wait for the pre-warning, and then when you get the arrow signal, you take a trade for whatever direction. So as you can see, this one would have lost. This one would have lost. This one here was a winner. And that's pretty basic. The most I've seen it get it wrong. But you gotta remember, it's at the mercy of consolidation and absorption. So however long that lasts, you really have to plan for. So if you're doing 10 chances to get it right twice, you should be okay as long as you're using the rest of the chart to make a good decision. If you're looking to trade blindly, it could get rough for you sometimes. If you're doing 10 chances to get it right one time, no matter how you play, you will get your one chance way before you get up, or yeah, one chance to win before you get to 10 chances. So that's a safety net that you can be aware of. Uh, that'll make you feel a little better. Because I have seen it like 5, 6 times in a row get it wrong during consolidation. So you would still get your win. Now, let's say what a trick you can do is once you get a pre-warning, okay, you can put your trade in. And a lot of times, if it's 1 minute, you can still win a lot of times. So right here, pre-warning, let's say you got the pre-warning here. All right, and you put your trade in. So it's going by a minute later, this candle still hasn't come down far enough to where your trade is. So you could just barely win before it comes all the way past where you originally put your trade in. So that's one little trick of how you can use the pre-warnings for 1 minute trades. And you'll be okay. You should always get your 2 wins out of 10 chances. Okay. But if you're playing extra safe, you'll always get your 1 win. The reason why I worry on two is because you never know when something's going wrong. It could be your internet screwing up, something's going on with your computer, something's, an indicator's messing up, even though it really shouldn't be. But there's too many variables to just say, hey, this is what's going to be the problem every single time. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really care to, how do you say, push something with like 90% win rate. I'd rather play it safe and extremely safe to make sure that everybody can at least walk away in profit, even if it turned out to be a rough session. If you get to eight chances and you still don't got it right or a win, the odds are something's going on with the system, whether it's the internet, your computer, something's not working right on your computer for a particular indicator to work. Could be any number of reasons. So at 8 chances, it's probably best that you just stop and come back later when things maybe restart your computer, maybe your internet's a little faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and look and see what they're trying to do here. So you got a pre-warning. Let's say we just put our trade in right here. Okay, so I'm going to keep the mouse right here at this line, and we'll see what happens. Now, even though that pre-warning disappeared, because the criteria that's pushing the market the way I want it to show has disappeared. Now remember, we're assuming we put our trade in on this line. And I believe it was like maybe 10, 15 seconds after the candle already opened. So we're on the new candle now. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and we would have won. Even though, oopsie, and it came down. So we would have barely won if you took that trade on that pre. So I recommend you go through demo so you can experience it firsthand and determine if this is a good strategy that you would like to do when it comes to 1 minute. Okay. Um, so let's go ahead and turn this off. And again, I always recommend that you trade with the market. So we wouldn't take any trades here. We'd only be looking to take trades once this line crosses the yellow and the red. Okay. So right here, boom, one trade, you would have won. If you got in on the pre-warning, you may have won. All right. Pre-warning, you may have won. If you waited for the arrows, you would have definitely have lost. Okay, because remember, it's mainly designed to take 5 minute trades. And if you go into a higher time frame, it will cut down on some of your losses. So if you went into a 5 minute, right now we're currently on OTC chart, so I can't change that up. And I'm gonna keep this video for like a half hour long only. I'm not gonna, but if you were to trade blindly, off the candles, and just if you had enough money and you have the trade manager, so you can set it up for however you want it, 20 chances to get it right this many times. All right, so if you did this, let's say 20 chances to get it right 4 times. So right here was a win, right there's a win, right there's a win. This was a loss. Well, depending on, we'll just say it was lost if you got your trade in just before the candle closes, like I do all the time. This was a win, a loss. This was a win, that was a loss, that's a loss. Nothing there, so, you know. So let's go ahead. Here's a nice long run. That one was a win, that one was a win. This one was a win, that was a win. Oh, no, this one was a loss. This one was a loss. This one was a win. This one was a win. And then we zoned out until the market changed. Let's see, a loss, a loss, a win. That was a win. Let's see here, a loss, another loss, and another loss right there in a row. This one here was a win. So if you did this loss, 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 came around, another loss, that's 4 losses. Let's see here, 5, and then on your 6th chance you would have got your win, and then 7 wins. So let's see, let's go farther back here. This one was a win, this was a loss, that was your win. So you know, that's just trading blindly. So if you're set for 2 chances or 10 chances to get it right twice, you should still come out ahead. Okay. And it's not a repaint. So that's one thing I was real big about. It's meeting a particular criteria that I'm asking for. It won't keep happening every single candle, like, arrow, 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 arrow. No, it's not going to do that. So let's see, we came here, we're with the trend. This one was a loss. If you took it on the arrow, possibly a one if here. Bam, that one was a win. This would have been lost, possibly a win if you got in on the pre-warning, like I was telling you. Pre-warnings can be actually pretty helpful for you. Uh, and cut down on some of your losses in regards to always waiting for the arrow. Mm. So I think that pretty much covers my arrow indicator. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video. And remember, like in certain things like this, we wouldn't be wanting to take a trade here because this is a main ribbon. We don't. If anything, we would want to be looking to take a trade on the bounce. So if you took a trade here, you would have lost. Boom, it came bounced. You'd be looking to take a trade and you would have got your win. Um, but again, like right here, you got your bounce, came down. You get your trade for 1 minute and you would have won. Came. Ooh, we had the hammer or shooting star there. So you had that. You would have lost on a 1 minute. Yeah, and that's where the Hakanashi, or not the Hakana, um, sorry, mine's getting a little discombobulated. Uh, the linear regression line can really come in handy on picking a trade for 1 minute to go down or go up, as long as it's with the market, going with the trend. All right, I don't recommend anybody ever going against the trend unless you are more willing to challenge and risk your money. Okay, so that'll be the end of this video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Or if you're going to be watching the next video, I'll talk to you then. Oh, we got a signal. Let's go see what it's doing. All right, so we had to get ready, but it disappeared. Oh, no, it's still there. So let's say you got your trade in right here. And let's see what happens. And that candle's about, I think, 10 seconds in. Not anymore, but once we got to it, it was about 10 seconds in. right? It did give us the buy. So let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we would have lost if we did 10 seconds in. Let's say we got in just before that candle closes. So it looks like we would have lost no matter what on that trade. Now let's see. Now it's meeting its requirements that I'm asking. Let's see what it would have done on a 5 minute. And we had a pre-warning. So let's assume we got a trade in there, but we're also going to pretend like we got in on for 5 minutes. So with the first pre-warning there, it was meeting the requirements that I am looking for. There just wasn't as much, there was probably an equal amount of the same for the opposite direction, and that's why we were running into this. So we would have won if you took a pre on the pre. Has that been over? But let's see here. Now remember, if we took this right here on the 5 minute, still in here, so we wait and see 4 candles later to see if that would have been our 5 minute trade. And again, you still could have capitalized on this if you took a 1 minute trade. All right. So if you took the arrow, you would have lost, but if you get on the pre, you would have won. If you got in on the pre for 1 minute, you would have lost. And if you took the arrow, you would have lost. So this was a losing section no matter what, unless we took a 5 minute, which we're waiting to see what happens. Now I'm assuming I put it in over here for a 5 minute. Okay, we gotta wait for this candle to finish out to see if that would have been a winner on a 5 minute trade. It helps though when you have pocket options that you have that little timer on the candle. I do not use timers on the MetaTrader 4 because the timer won't count down correctly. Let's say a candle stops and it doesn't move for a bit. The timer stops counting down as well. Until that candle moves, the timer won't update. So this one would have been a winner if we took our 5 minute trade. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the video because I didn't want to really keep this longer than half hour, and I'll work on the next video adding one of the other indicators that are mine. Um, a lot of these indicators you can actually get online. I'll talk about it in the next video. But we're gonna shut this. Talk to you in the next video.